Good morning. Good morning, blessing sisters. Welcome to my Sunday Facebook Live, or perhaps you may watch this later on YouTube or BitChute. Welcome, welcome. I started just a minute early today because I've just noticed that Facebook, I don't know, it freezes up even if I restart whole um, my whole Facebook and everything. So I just wanted to start early just to be sure that it worked. Hey, Pat, good morning. Welcome. Would you let me know? See, on my end, when I see myself, sometimes I'm freezing up. Would you let me know if you can hear me okay and see me okay? And we're just at the top of the hour now, and I see people coming on. So please, again, let me know. Hey, Amy, welcome. Good morning. Always so good to gather here with you. Coming to you from my little house in the big forest. Hi, Ayala. Good morning. Glad to have you with us. Are you hearing me okay? Are you seeing me okay? Am I freezing up? Pat says everything looks good. Yay. Okay. Benafsha. Benafsha. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but hello. Welcome, sister. Benafsha. Would you maybe type in how to pronounce your name, like where the accent is? You can make it, the accent on the syllable, like make that in caps. Am I saying your name right? Benafsha? Or is there a silent letter in there? I'd love to be able. I like to pronounce people's names correctly. It's like a wordsmith person thing, I guess. Okay, Amy says sounds good too. Great. Okay, so as sisters are starting to come on the line, oh, there's a whole bunch more. I just had to scroll. Hey, Uta, good morning. Hi, Rosemary, good morning. Hey, Rosemary, I know you sent me an email and I've been sprinting. I haven't had a chance to get back to you. Please accept my sincere apologies. And if it feels urgent, let me know. Reach out to me again, because I'm just a bit slow right now with onboarding everyone for Mother Spirit. Ayala says she hears me just fine. JT, welcome, dear. Inga, welcome. Hi. Uh, yes, you're welcome for the links yet last Sunday. You can hear and see me okay. Hi, Evelina. I said it right, Benafsha. Thank you. Yay. Where are you from, by the way, sister? Okay, Uta says she's hearing me well. Deb, hey, Deb, welcome. Okay, so we're going to do something. Oh, it's a Persian name. Ah, beautiful. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to do something a little different today. I, every Sunday I tune in. Sometimes it comes on Saturday night. Often it comes in my Sunday morning meditation. I ask Divine Mother, what would you have me share with my sisters today? Usually it like drops right in. I know exactly what it is. And nothing's coming, and I'm out there watering my garden area. That will be my garden area. And I just really, the only thing that dropped in was question and answer to invite all of you to ask me to speak about whatever it is you want me to speak about. You see, I'm wanting to move to a different format. I want to get off Facebook and in onto a platform that is a more loving business, more loving system. And that's going to happen. I just, these things take a little bit of work and effort. So but one of the reasons I want to do that is because I want to have live chats where we can actually talk with each other. So while I'll still bring guidance through, I want to have more engagement. So this is kind of like I suppose, a test at that. So JT says, thanks for prayers during the priestess closing. Knee replacement went smoothly. Yay, almost 5 weeks post-op. Wonderful, JT. So glad to hear that. Okay, so what I would want to ask you all to do is to tune into what questions you may have for me, and you can write them in the chat whenever they feel aligned for you. We're still going to ground and center, and see, my computer is like, it's making all this noise again that it doesn't do on Zoom. So anyway, that's my goal is to change platforms this year at some point, And but for now, here we are. So let's take a few breaths, ground and center, and then just see what comes up. Okay? So if it's safe to do so, you can close your eyes and just begin that journey inward with the breath. Letting your breath be the vehicle that takes you into the center of your being. Letting the distractions and responsibilities of the day fall away. Breathing in, expanding to receive the breath of light, the love light energy of the divine. Exhaling to drop away what does not serve your present moment awareness. Inhaling to come back to center, dropping into the body. Exhaling to release distraction. Inhaling to make spacious, safe space for yourself in this present moment. Exhaling to open to multidimensional awareness. Inhaling to call upon your guides and master teachers in the non-physical, those beings of light and Christed consciousness, to draw in closer to you. Exhaling to release any obstructions to receiving their guidance. Inhaling to connect deeply with your heart. Exhaling to extend that loving energy outward. Inhaling to feel the loving embrace of your guides and Divine Mother. Exhaling to send that loving energy back out into the ethers, offering it to any who need love and support right now. One more inhalation, feeling yourself surrounded, centered, anchored, and saturated in light. Exhaling to give yourself permission to be fully present now. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. I want to welcome Tammy. Welcome, dear. Evelina, you're looking for a platform too. I'm going to look at Mighty Networks, by the way. So I believe their business model and their business intentions and integrity are very high. I'm a member of a few different groups, Mighty Networks, one paid, one free. So I'm going to start doing some research on them once I begin with Mother Spirit on summer solstice. So, and have that group together and start, then I'll be in a place where I can focus elsewhere. Right now I've been interviewing and onboarding with sisters for this year. Okay, so what are your questions? What would you like me to speak about today? I mean, I can riff on lots of topics potentially from that place of alignment with, the higher understanding and the 3D realm of what's going on. So as I wait for you to write in anything, and I do hope someone has questions because this was what I was guided for today, I just want to remind us about this sort of the paradox of our experience here in the 3D realm. That when we're here, this is a dream in the mind of the one. It's a dream of separation. It's a dream of duality. And as we walk in this world, it all seems very real and compelling. But when we operate from the 3D and the belief in separation and duality, we suffer and we never really find that peace that surpasseth understanding, which comes when we remember the one. So when I look at things going on in the world, I do my best on a daily basis to come back into reunion, to go vertical to the one, to remember that I am always one with all that is in the multidimensional realms, and that love is the only real miracle, and that forgiveness is not a boon I bestow on someone unworthy, but rather simply the remembrance that all of this is a dream, and like so much dust can be blown away as I remember that we are all love, lost in the miasma of fear and separation. So anything when I talk about like the 3D realm and what's going on and the bad guys and the good guys, the bad gals and the good gals, I'm always also recognizing that that is the dream realm in a sense, even though this feels very real. So that's sort of framing it up. Now let's see what comes up. Okay, so Pat asks about grief. Okay. And Ayala also says, yes, grief, please. Okay. Thank you, sisters. So let's tune in. So what I'm getting here is grief as connected with the loss of someone or something. And if we take what I just said about, the remembrance that we are all one, that this is a dream, but in this dream, things come and go. And there have been many master teachers that say anything that dies cannot be real. The ultimate reality is that the only thing is real is that which is eternal, consciousness itself, the love that is the unity of all things. And yet, in this world, we walk through this world and things come and go, people come and go, and we develop attachments to experiences, to people, to patterns that keep us comfortable or that make us feel good. Sometimes even attachments to things that don't necessarily make us feel good, but we're just used to it. And when those things go, we experience what is called grief. I've been very fortunate in my life in the sense that I have not lost many loved ones. At 56 years old, my parents are still alive. My son is healthy. I haven't lost siblings. I lost my grandmother. I was very close with my grandmother many years ago. So I haven't had a lot of experiences of grief. So please take what I share in that context, but also from that spiritual perspective. What I have been experiencing grief around is grief around what my body can't do anymore. So that's where I'm kind of connecting into the energetic of it, because I've had all these pelvic issues. I used to be this amazing dancer and this phenomenal athlete and strong and fit. And as we begin to develop our land here, I can hardly do anything. And there's a fear that I have around, how is my life going to be now? Will I ever be strong again? Will I ever be able to do certain things again? So maybe I can relate in that way. My understanding about grief, and having lost a relationship too, and having a divorce, there was some grief around that. There's like a period that we go through that it gets more intense, where you go through the different stages, right? There's the regret and the mourning and I don't even know what they all are. Like there's the sorrow and the parts where you miss them, and then the parts where you are sad about the things that may never be, because that person or that experience or that circumstance or that bodily condition is no longer there. So I think it's important that we are gentle with ourselves, that we understand that even if we grasp that this is a dream realm, we're still walking in this world and experiencing our emotions as an eternal being having a human experience. And so we have to be gentle with ourselves and Feel the feels. Feel the feels so that we move through to the other side of it. There's an old saying, and I've been saying this since my son was little, and now he reminds me of it. The only way out is through. So we don't want to spiritual bypass grief by saying, well, it's all just a dream anyway, so I'm not going to have to feel it. We have to feel the feels. That's the paradox of walking in this world. And simultaneously, we have to give as we even give ourselves permission to feel the feels and move through the grief, to remember that there is light at the end of the tunnel, that ultimately, whatever it was that was lost will come back to us in a greater way, whether that is a loved one or an experience, that there is a way in which life continues. Life eternal continues, and life in this realm continues. In terms of feeling the feels and moving through it, as a ceremonialist, I tend to like to create ceremonies to acknowledge the rite of passage, the initiation of going through grief. That could be done in a burning ritual, for example, but that could also be done it could be using any of the elements, right? You can use water to wash yourself and bathe and let your tears flow and offer prayers and blessings for whatever it was you lost. It could be a grief ceremony. It could be a burning ceremony. It could be just sitting at your altar every day at the same time every day for X amount of minutes, to allow yourself to feel whatever it is you want to feel, potentially, possibly with a picture of the person or the situation which you are grieving. So creating that ceremony, asking for your guides to support you, asking for guidance, these are all ways to navigate and move through the grief, not as a way to escape it, not as a way to deny it, nor as a way to indulge it, but rather to allow and trust and know that this is part of your soul's journey on this earth walk, this plane of separation, to move through the grief and come out the other side. So I hope that's helpful. Please do let me know. So Deb asks, can you please speak about self-love and respect when working on sovereignty, remembering who we really are? Okay. Self-love and respect. Okay, so here's what's coming in, and I see a lot of questions coming in, so I may start to speak faster now. Remember, it's being recorded though, so you can listen later. All right, so we all were born deeply steeped into separation, into a belief in separation. And many of us were raised to feel guilty and shameful about who we are, sinful, if you will. And we could talk about the metaphysical reasons for that, but let's just start with that we were born deeply steeped in this dense reality. And depending on your life circumstances, most of us are raised not to learn about how to respect ourselves and how to honor our sovereignty, how to love ourselves. Depending on, I was raised Catholic. There's a lot of shaming. There's a lot of guilt from early on. And so self-respect, self-love, sovereignty are not things that are even taught. And then when we're little, most parents and adults around little children, they violate your physical space. And I don't even mean in like an evil sexual way or anything like that. I don't even mean that. Not that evil is sexual, but to children, you know what I mean? So this honoring of our boundaries and of our sovereignty is something we have to learn or relearn. And that means, again, sometimes we have to go through the shadow material. We have to excavate all the places inside of us where we have been, not every incident of not self-love, but the energetic of, where am I still running the frequencies of I'm not worthy of respect. I don't have good boundaries. I don't love myself. I self-criticize myself. I don't deserve to honor my own boundaries and say no. So it's a process. I've been saying I've been saying this prayer for years now, years, maybe 4 or 5 years, I don't know, 4 years maybe. The solar sovereignty prayer, where I say, I am the light, I serve the light. I am the light, I serve the light. I am the light, I serve the light, and I am sovereign. And if you've gone through the Priestess Alchemy, I teach the entire thing. There's more to it than that. It's not enough to just say the mantra, but I think sometimes if you say a mantra long enough, you activate the things that will come to your life to help you clear what's keeping you from sovereignty, self-love, self-respect, good boundaries. This is crucial at this time on the planet for us to honor our boundaries and our sovereignty, because it is being rolled over like a steamroller by the controllers of this planet. It is insane what is going on this planet right now. That people will actually try to shame other people, guilt other people, intimidate other people, threaten other people if they don't take an experimental serum, let's use that word, deplatform people too for talking about it. If they don't take an experimental serum, which and willfully offer themselves as guinea pigs, talk about the ultimate statement of a world where one's self-respect, self-dignity, self-love, and self-sovereignty are completely dishonored. So how do we deal with that? Well, if we are all ultimately one, and if we are all co-creating this dream world, then we need to co-create a new kind of world, one where we don't have a small number of elite who have infiltrated every area of society such that they can pull the wool over everybody's eyes, lock everyone in, and force some very nefarious stuff into our physical body-mind vehicles. So what do? We have to reclaim our sovereignty. We have to honor our boundaries. We have to stand in our truth and our authenticity no matter what, and put our foot down about letting anyone else shame or intimidate us. But we can only do that if we've cleared ourselves enough to not be triggered by other people's projections, name-calling, shaming, blaming, stereotyping into silly little tiny boxes of irrelevance. So it takes incredible courage at this time on the planet. And courage, remember, courage, cœur, is heart in the Latin, which comes cœur in French, right? It comes from the Latin, courage, to have heart. And in boxing, I used to be a boxer and a Muay Thai kickboxer years ago. We talk about a good fighter having heart. A good fighter has heart because they're courageous, they're fearless, but they're not seething in rage and anger. A good fighter has a cool heart, is very clear, very skilled, very capable. We have to be that on the energetic level right now, because our sovereignty is what is at stake. Our actual soul's eternal journey is somewhat at stake. I mean, we're all, again, it's a dream, right? But the journey we are about to have, if we should choose to take the experimental serum, is going to be very different at the soul level than those who say, you know what, no, I'd rather take the risk of the challenges of 3D for a little while than go along with the herd, unconsciously cooperating and saying yes just to keep the peace. It is, in a sense, the ultimate test of our willingness to honor our boundaries, to love and respect ourselves enough, and to claim our sovereignty. Now more than ever, humanity, at least in our known history, humanity needs to rise and claim our sovereignty. So I got a little on a soapbox there. Deb, please let me know if that answered your question. Benafsha, I think, did I say that right now? Binafsha, you said, can you talk about forgiveness, especially for those who never apologize for their harsh words? I'm so glad you asked that today because I just began a process I'm working with. Let me show you this beautiful essential oil. I'm working with these beautiful essential oils. Whoops. Wisdom of the earth. And I'm working with hyssop and forgiveness. Now, let me show you this too. I don't know if you know, but I'm a student of the Course in Miracles, which is all about forgiveness. So this morning, I began a dedicated practice for, I don't know, some spell of time where I will anoint each morning. I'll anoint my womb space, my heart chakra, and my third eye with the hyssop. And then, so I did that this morning, and then I turned to today's lesson. Lesson number 134. Let me perceive forgiveness as it is. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that. Thank you for asking this again. In this 3D realm, we have been taught that forgiveness is what we offer someone when they've done us wrong. That's actually not forgiveness, although I get that that's hard to imagine. Forgiveness is what happens when we realize that everything we are experiencing is but the dream of separation. And that all of the things that I experience, good, bad, ugly, neutral, are projections either of my own personal buried material or our collective buried material. So when we start to realize it is all a dream, the only thing that is real is that which cannot die, forgiveness shifts from you're a low down dirty dog, but I'm going to be a bigger woman than you and forgive you, to this release where this burden comes off our shoulders, where we say, there but for the grace of God go I, this person in their dream of separation, conniving to destroy the whole planet, as we can think of a few people in the public eye, or this person who has harmed me in my body and caused trauma. How many children have been molested by adults, trusted adults in their life? So it's not something you can necessarily just do, although there are people on the planet who have sudden awakening, self-realization, and it all falls away. All of the judgment, all of the attachment, the egoic, identified, trauma-triggered, fractured part of the psyche, all of that stuff goes away when we become self-realized. But most of us, it's a journey. It's not something that just boom happens. Sometimes it does, rarely. For most of us, it's a process. And for me, the Course in Miracles has absolutely been that process. And also working with things like Ho'oponopono, working with Divine Mother, especially in her guises as Tara and Kuan Yin, the compassionate bodhisattvas, as some of my master teachers that I work with. So forgiveness, I have someone in my life, a family member, who has said some harsh words to the point of it's like shocking, right? Where you're like, did that person really say that stuff to me? Completely deluded, completely projecting onto me all of their wounding, all of their suffering. And ultimately that's what brought me to the Course in Miracles through serendipity, and for me to get to the point where I see, yeah, that person doesn't have within them yet in their soul's evolutionary journey the capacity to apologize for their harsh words. And when we understand the human psyche, what we realize is that either they are locked into their own attack beliefs, and therefore they're carrying them around and suffering, or they're feeling all the guilt or shame or around those harsh words, and feel too ashamed to apologize. Same true with abusers of any kind. So it's not about forgiveness. Is not about saying, look, I forgive you, what you did was okay. That's not what it's about. We don't even have to talk to that person. That's not what it's about. It's about freeing ourselves from holding on to the baggage of holding resentment against those who have done us wrong, or forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us, from the Lord's Prayer. These are wise words indeed. We don't have to buy into the entire religious dogma to value the wisdom that comes from those words. When you forgive that person, you are liberated. And you don't have to say a word to them, because if you do, that's just creating more sort of entanglement potentially, depending on your relationship with them. I mean, if it's your spouse or something, there's already a lot of entanglement, right? But so my invitation to you is, if you're working with forgiveness, you're challenged with forgiveness, Course in Miracles. Course in Miracles. I mean, this is a material that was channeled by the one that we know of as Jesus, who became a completely self-realized master in his final incarnation on this earth. And he has come back, and he's back again, channeled through a number of channelers. But about 55 years ago, he came through a woman who was not a Jesus person at all. She was an academic, and brought forward a body of work for these times now, because forgiveness is the key to liberation. In fact, let me read to you what I wrote this morning after my meditation. My journal. Look at my hot pink journal I have right now. I go through journals like Cookie Monsters go through cookies. Okay, so here's what I wrote. Forgiveness is the path to liberation. It is the relief that comes when we no longer carry the burdens of guilt and judgment. It is the liberation of remembering that this is just a dream. So I hope that helps you, dear. Let me know if it does. Hi, Janelle. JT says, the stages of grief aren't linear. We dance in and out of them. It's best if we befriend grief. Oh, thank you, JT. Beautiful. Yes, thank you for that wisdom. Okay, so where are we? We're at 33 minutes here speaking. Recording. Is there anything else, any other final questions or feedback on what I've shared so far? Anything coming up for anyone? I'll wait a few more minutes. I want to thank you all again for joining me each week. I'm going to go out into the forest here shortly before it gets too hot. It's been incredibly hot here in the Southwest and very, very dry. And I can see the sky is filled with smoke, so there's a fire burning somewhere. I do pray it is a controlled fire. It's hard to tell. Okay. Going. Anyone else have anything they want to share? Benafsha says, yes, very much needed this. So helpful. Thank you, Dawn. You are so welcome. You are so welcome. Pat says thank you as well. Okay. Wait just another moment here. Tammy says thank you for being here each week. Thank you, Tammy, for being here most weeks as well. And as I said, I'm aiming for a better platform in the weeks and months ahead. For now, I'll continue to be here. I visit sometimes on Facebook. I haven't been here that much just because I have so many other things going on, but I'm going to start to get back to a normal routine now. Evelina says, thank you for everything. You're so welcome, Evelina. Thank you for being here every week. JT says, thank you for these moments in time we get to share with you, and thank you as well. Amy says, didn't have a specific question today, but everything I needed to hear was said. Yep, it's so lovely how that always works, isn't it? Benafsha says, I have been listening to A Course in Miracles audiobook. Yay! I also want to refer you to my favorite course resource, which is my dear sister friend and channeler of Jesus, and her name is Tina Spalding. And you can go on YouTube to find her work. She has a private group as well. In fact, she'll be channeling live today. Yay! In the private group. But Tina Spalding on YouTube, channeling Jesus. And she brings through the same totally aligned messages. She was a course student for like 10 years, very serious, before she started channeling her guides, and eventually they prepared her to channel Jesus. And it's basically it's the same teachings, but he communicates more in like our language now, instead of the more poetic and a little bit kind of old style He-Man God language of the course. So I really encourage you to check her out, because boy, that made such a difference in my life. Those channeled messages and that guidance in conjunction with the course have helped me deepen my understanding of the course and accelerate my ability to move with that healing, powerful awakening tool. Rosemary, hi. Yes. Oh, yeah, I said hi already. You were here earlier. So thank you. Thank you. Course in Miracles has changed my life too. Yes, indeed. Okay, blessings and love to everyone. Indeed. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, sisters. Have a blessed week, my dears, wherever you are in the world. May the Divine Mother be with you. May your heart expand in gratitude and forgiveness for all the world, remembering that we are all one in that which we would call God, always loved. Thank you, thank you. Many blessings and much